Hey everyone, today we are going to be doing something a little different and making these fun guitar pick earrings. For this project today, we are going to need 2 tortoiseshell guitar picks, 2 6mm cat's eye beads, and 2 French hook ear wires. I'm also going to be using this 24 gauge craft wire, a pair of needle nose pliers, a pair of round nose pliers, and a pair of wire cutters. I'm also going to be using a rotary tool with the smallest drill bit that I can find. Years ago, somebody gave me this pair of guitar pick earrings that I wore for a long time, and I ended up losing one of them. It was a huge bummer because I really liked them a lot. So I ordered 100 tortoiseshell guitar picks to try and recreate them. And I figured if I order 100, I'll be sure to get at least 2 of these red ones that I'm looking for, right? Wrong. Of all the tortoiseshell guitar picks that I received, I only got 1 of these red ones. And I know what you're saying to yourself, that doesn't look like 100 tortoiseshell guitar picks to me, and it's because it's not. The listing that I purchased only showed pictures of tortoiseshell guitar picks, but what they sent me was mostly these plain Jane boring looking guitar picks. I did get a refund on these and they let me keep the guitar picks anyway, so I didn't have to send them back. And so I'm just gonna try and use up the tortoiseshell ones that I received, making something a little bit different. So I am going to take my pair of guitar picks and I'm going to drill a small hole at the very tip with the smallest drill bit I can find. I'm using this piece of scrap plywood as a backing so I have a sturdy surface to drill into. And there you can see my nice tidy little hole. I am going to do the same with the second guitar pick, and then we can go ahead and move on to the assembly. I'm going to take my craft wire and snip off a few inches of it so that I have a workable piece of wire. I'm going to take my round nose pliers and make a little loop about an inch from the end of my piece of wire. Then I'm going to slide one of my guitar picks into the loop. Then I'm going to take my pair of needle nose pliers, pinch the loop closed, and wrap the excess piece of wire right next to the loop. I'm going to make sure I get at least 2 revolutions around the wire before I snip off any excess wire. I'm going to go back in with my needle nose pliers and clamp down on the end that I just snipped to make sure there's no pokey bits hanging out to stab anybody. Next, I'm going to add one of my cat's eye beads. And taking my round nose pliers, I'm going to put them right above the bead and bend the wire off to one side. And our round nose pliers will create the perfect amount of space for the next wire wrapping to go. Now I'm going to move my round nose pliers above our little bend and create a loop. And now I can wrap the excess wire around that little space that we made. Then I'm going to cut off any extra length of wire and go in with my needle nose pliers to make sure that I really tuck in that little end. Now I'm going to grab one of my French hooks and open the loop up with my needle nose pliers, slide my little bead and guitar pick on there, and close it right back up. And you can see that I've got it hanging in the opposite orientation from my original earring. So now I'm going to repeat the process for my second earring. And the most important part about making this little beaded connector is that you want to make sure that the loops are at a 90-degree angle from each other. That will make sure that your earrings hang correctly. So you can see that means if I'm looking at the face of one loop, then I'll be looking at the side of the other loop. And after I add my second French hook, then we have our finished pair of guitar pick earrings. And I just went ahead and made a pair in each of the colors that I had available. So for these sky blue guitar picks, I used an 8mm Lake Blue Variscite bead. And for this green pair, I used a 4mm bead. And I had 8mm Dogtooth amethysts for this purple set. I had some 4mm bicone beads for this hot pink set. Here are some 6mm citrines for this yellow set. I have these champagne colored rectangular beads for this bronze set. And I have some oval shaped hematite beads for this gunmetal gray set. And then back to our original white set, and I just love this one the most because I think the tortoiseshell and the cat's eye look really nice together. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more like it, please be sure to throw me a morsel of a subscribe, a crumb of a like, or a tasty tidbit of a comment. And if you really want to support this channel, you can go to my website, Xerelia.com, where you can find all of the items that I feature here on these videos. I even have some patterns and bead kits on there, so go ahead and check it out. I will leave links in the description box. Okay, bye!